I don't think the United States is the best frame of reference. It's not.
But it has always been. It has always been legal in Netherlands.
It has.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's the first country I traveled to, and those they call coffee shops. Yeah, you go and buy your thing, either edible or otherwise. You have some good time. Yeah. Oh, wow. Like one of the biggest tourists is the people who come over the weekend just to, have a good time.
Just chill.
It's one of the countries where they have legalized that amongst, the others. Europe members. So when you think about it, it's like, should I? By the way, guys, don't use it if you don't have to. Yeah, you are good the way you are, Yeah, but someone else brought another debate around that. Tea is also a drug.
Sure.
Coffee is a drug.
100%.
Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
So anything overused, of course, it will cause problem, including ugali and skuma wiki. That is relative.
Yeah.
So, parting shot, Junn. Or let's start even with Sylvia.
Yes.
Parting shot for our audience.
So, parting shot. I love this new generation in the tech space.
Yeah.
I love the steps and the strides and the mindset change that is coming about, which is very evident even in your story, how you're seeing people do things. If I was to tell my parents that, in my school, we're building rockets, they'd be confused. You're not in JKUAT? They'd be, what's going on?
Yeah.
And this is the change that we love to see. I have many friends who've been in Nakuja, and so I've seen you guys really put in the work and do the tests in the field and then
feel
and record. And that's the progress. So love to see it. Yeah, your journey is very interesting. Yeah, and I'm sure someone seated somewhere is thinking about how do I go about this? I'm here. Is there someone who's gone through this journey? And hopefully that person will get to see it and realize that they can do a lot. So I love to see it. Parting shot, what is my main takeaway? I love the mindset shift. So I will take that with me. Look at things with that perspective.
All right. I'm supposed to go?
Yeah.
Yes, please, Junn.
Okay. Parting shot. Let me start with how, before I even start a parting shot, it's probably going to be a story.
Okay.
And motivation to all of us.
Okay.
I met MK through community. And it was actually one of my biggest communities that I have joined besides university, and then that also led way into other communities. And if there's anything that I will underscore is build in public, learn in public. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to look like a failure, because I think those are two different things. Don't feel as though you can't trust someone else with your dream or your visions, or your people are out, especially in this tech space. And what you're saying about mindsets is it's very important, because people were now looking at things differently, now looking at life differently, and realizing we don't have to build in a silo. I don't have to build in a vacuum. I don't have to learn in a vacuum. I don't have to experience life in a vacuum. Talk about it, right? Talk about the projects you're working on. It might seem silly to you, but it really isn't. It's a starting point to something else, right? Talk about the kind of failures you're going through, because it's out of that someone else comes and shows you the way, right? If for instance, let's even assume you're all programmers, right? Let's imagine we didn't have documentation, because that's one good example of community. Let's just imagine we didn't have documentation or didn't have Stack Overflow. Think about that one, So don't be afraid to talk about the kind of problems you're experiencing, because it paves way for providing answers. And if you have an answer, don't sit with it.
Sure.
Write papers, write articles, speak in public, go to conference talks, write books if you may, because the only way we're able to tell our stories is if we actually let them out. The only way you're able to help someone is if you actually provide that helping hand. So on the one hand, don't be afraid to ask. On the other hand, don't be afraid to provide answers. So it has been an interesting one. I really liked it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
By the way, talking about sharing, you'll be presenting at Africa's Talking Summit 2023.
I did not think you saw that. Yes, I will.
Yeah. And I like when people give me that.
What?
Like, okay. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating myself, but I'm the guy who you not think. I normally tell people don't follow me, I'm lost, but
you act like the underdog.
I'm an underdog.
Okay.
So I'll give an African proverb.
Okay.
From Ethiopia.
Okay.
And I learned this and I'll have to give credit from Spice FM in the morning.
Okay.
From CT. The other one is? The CT and who else? You don't listen to this? Okay. So one of the radios actually that is changing the conversation.
It is.
And by the way, if they are listening to me, please bring all politicians. We want to hear from innovators, everyone. And that's one thing I like. You listen to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's some sober conversation. But they give proverbs, and I thought, why not? But the proverbs are good. They present you as a wise person. No, they give wisdom. So here is a proverb from Ethiopia.
All right.
It says, what is inflated too much will burst into fragments. And I feel like it relates to what you're talking about, rockets. And it says this is the explanation.
Okay.
But maybe in future, we should be asking our guests, like, how this guy, that's what they do. They give up, and they're like, what do you think that proverb is? And then they give them in. But for me, I'll be easy. So, one who thinks very highly of oneself is said to have a big head. You have ever heard of that?
Yeah.
If you let your ego grow and you boost all the time, eventually you'll not be able to live up to it. Your ego will shatter in a sense. The same is true for substances. As a substance eats up, or we cook it, the particles vibrate faster and expand. If the particles are contained, they will exert more and more pressure. Rocket scientists, manenos, on the substance containing them, and the container may eventually burst.
Sure.
That's a very good proverb. Though when I think about it, I feel like a rocket scientist. But anyway,
chemical engineer in the house.
My part is in the house. So my parting shot will be very easy. And I normally say this, I normally tell this to myself. With 1 billion people across Africa, and when you think about that, 70% of those, which is around, and actually it's more actually right now, is more than 800,000. 800 million people, youth, which is 35 and below, or even younger, because they called what? The mean age is around 19 now.
19.
Yeah.
19,
It shows two things. One is either we perish all of us or we make it all of us. And I believe in making all of us, making it all of us, because for me, it's a matter of if you have an opportunity, you have a skill, why not share that skill?
For sure.
It's better off when everyone has access to that as opposed to just one. Like, we should have so many point of failures as opposed to one. And I think any engineering you go to, that's one thing that you're taught to create. Many point of failures. So that by the time the last point of failure is failing, the first one is fixed.
Kicked back in.
So anyone in Africa, don't give up. Don't feel like, I was born in Karamanjong, Karamoja, and, this is it. There's so much out there, and it doesn't matter where you are across the African continent. It's a matter of you having that self-drive.
For sure.
Yeah, because you have seen the most unlikely engineers from northern Nigeria, where there's been Boko Haram for the longest, and they are spreading this thing across Nigeria. We have seen the best engineer come from Egypt, which actually relies on Nile, and among us many other things. So it can be done, it should be done, and we will do it.
We will do it, for sure.
And thank you so much, Junn, for honoring our show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
It was really
and
nice.
For our listeners, this is where we come to an end. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, And if you like Junn to be our guest again, please let us know. Junn is just starting this, by the way, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No voting.
Looking it as a joke.
Comment. But ideally, we just host movers and shakers, guys who are doing big things around tech ecosystem across Africa, telling their stories the way they are, keeping it real, and of course, learning from each other. I hope you have enjoyed. Until next time, see you.